Welcome to the Sleep Podcast with DJ Boring. In today's episode, you'll be hearing interesting background information about science, history, philosophy, and other intrigue to soothe you back to a deep sleep. Accompanied by original ambient and other types of music in the background to help lull you into a long, deep slumber. We're going to be doing a half-hour episode today, so without any further ado, let's take a deep breath to get started. The first recorded signs of a lottery of any form were kino slips from the Chinese Han Dynasty between 205 and 187 BC. These lotteries were believed to have helped finance major government projects like the Great Wall of China. In the Chinese Book of Songs, there's reference to the game known as the drawing of wood, which in the context appears to describe the drawing of wooden lots. In Europe, lotteries were commonly held during the Roman Empire, mainly as an amusement at dinner parties. Each guest would receive a ticket. Prizes would often consist of fancy items such as dinnerware. Every ticket holder would be assured of winning something, but this type of lottery was more of the redistribution of gifts by wealthy noblemen during the Saturnalian revelries. The earliest organized lottery there was hosted by none other than the Roman Emperor Augustus. The funds were again for repairs in the city of Rome, and the winners were given prizes in the forms of articles of unequal value. In the United States, newspaper advertisements found during the colonial era found that at least 392 lotteries were held in the 13 colonies. Lotteries were used not only as a form of entertainment, but also revenue to help fund the colonies. The financiers of Jamestown, Virginia, for instance, funded lotteries to help raise money to support their colony. These lotteries were more sophisticated for their time period and even included instant winners. Not long after, each of the original 13 colonies established their own lottery system. Clearly, this system carried over into the United States' current system of each state operating at the state level for lotteries. In other small-scale and colloquial ways, there have been different types of charitable raffles and lotteries, such as the 50-50 lottery or 50-50 raffle. In this situation, every person would buy a ticket and have a chance for half of the total proceeds. For example, they could sell one ticket for $1 or 6 tickets for $5, and at the conclusion of the time of selling tickets, pull one winner to get approximately half of the total money. This is sometimes a controversial or even illegal operation, as when not done for charity, any given person could do this for a scheme to enrich themselves. In the story 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, one of the protagonists does just this to scrape a living by in his village until he's ultimately chased out or arrested for this action. One of the oldest questions in philosophy is that of consciousness. This stems from a section of philosophy known as philosophy of the mind, in which the nature of the mind and its relation to the external world has been puzzled over for centuries. In Western philosophy, the question goes back as far as Descartes, who first posited the I think, therefore I am dualism of mind. Descartes argued that the mind is an independently existing substance, whereas physicalists believe that the mind is a part of a physical category, that the brain being made of atoms and carbon could be explained through the same chemical processes that make rocks or trees or anything like that. The hard problem of consciousness is to explain why and how humans have developed what is called subjective experience. It is different from easy problems with no mechanistic connection. Even when analyzing this question, the thinker is at the mercy of their own subjective experience. In many cases, the hard problem of consciousness is so elusive that it must even be described in terms of thought experiments or metaphors. One common example is the inevitability of color experience. If everybody sees the color red as green and still calls it red, is there any difference? Or to use a simpler metaphor, what is it like to be a bat? Is it possible for a human mind, with our experience of the world and structures, language, and so on, to truly understand what it would be like to be a bat? The term the hard problem of consciousness was originally coined by cognitive scientist and philosopher David Chalmers. The reason that it is separated into an easy and hard problem is because to explain consciousness as phenomenological fact is outside of the concepts that we can formulate within our consciousness. The easy problem is a reductive inquiry, a kind of logical consequence of lower level facts of the world, such as how a clock's ability to tell time is inherent in its structure, or the fact of a hurricane being the consequence of certain structures and functions in weather patterns, moisture, temperature, and other amenable parts. The hard problem, in contrast, is why and how are processes of the brain accompanied by experience. We can describe how sense data is processed in the brain, how certain portions of the brain correspond to certain thoughts, actions, and emotions. But the concept of subjective experience, as each person experiences it, is outside of the concepts that can be described qualitatively and quantitatively. Explaining why certain mechanisms are accompanied by conscious experience is the hard problem. How and why should neural processing in the brain lead to the sensation of the feeling of hunger? And how does one person experience hunger compared to another person? There are behaviors externally that can show these things. There are brain mappings that can correspond to descriptions and feelings that can be simulated. But the feeling and the experience of hunger has become an impossible problem in modern philosophy. This is known as the hard problem of consciousness. This problem is in contrast to the material conception of the world, that every physical and material thing can be reduced to microphysical connections. Cause after cause after cause, and somewhere along that way arises human consciousness. It still remains one of the greatest questions of all. What is the mind? What is consciousness? In Eastern philosophies, such as the Buddhist teachings, they describe the mind as a manifestation of moment-to-moment sense impressions and mental phenomena that are continuously changing. The moment-by-moment manifestation of the mind is a central concept of impermanence, or pali, or anitya. It is one of the essential doctrines of Buddhism, asserting that all conditioned existence, without exception, is transient, evanescent, and inconstant. All temporal things, whether material or mental, are objects compounded in a continuous change of condition, and especially in the physical world, subject to decline and destruction. The mental events of the mind in Buddhism, known to be fleeting and constantly changing, are one of the central things to escape from, practiced through meditation and upright living. In meditation, one notices first to be present in the moment, what is passing through the mind. The hope in meditation is to be able to clear the mind and empty it of all thought and all changing impression. This can be first done by noticing sounds, noticing breathing, and especially noticing the thoughts that are passing through the mind. When in a still and quiet space, with eyes closed and focusing on breathing, one still has thoughts of the future, the past, things to do, and so on. These thoughts, like passing clouds or a flowing stream, should be noticed and let go of, with a constant reminder to come back to breathing and a clear mind. Though there is much to do, though there are many things that keep us awake and keep us worrying, we should strive always to empty the mind. If you were to describe the shape of water that is constantly flowing or being shaken, there is no way to represent in fixed form a thing that is constantly changing. To draw a picture of water is completely separated from the reality of its moving form. not all things to all people all the time. That's all it is. There's hardly a way to describe what isn't. As we examine what is, we can only ever wonder about what isn't. This is hidden. Among other things, it's not all things to all people all the time. But what is to some people some of the time? That's the question. That's the way to get back to sleep. That's where we find ourselves drifting. That's how we somehow find a way to fall deep into sleep. Deep into sleep. Falling deeper and deeper into sleep. So I've got the new Donkey Kong on Nintendo Switch 2. I'll just do a little kind of guided playthrough here. Alright, so it looks like they got a passageway I can spend some gold to unlock. Okay, I'm gonna try this out. Some kind of mini level. So many of these. Oh, it looks like there's 3 bananas I can get in here. No time limit. Okay, I can see one of them. Alright, I don't know what's going to happen. We got some weird terrain here. I'm just going to run on forward. Oh, there's one of these bad guys I can see. Oh, okay, so he doesn't... Okay, got a couple of those items there. What the difference is in this terrain. It looks like one of these is just like sludge. It's slow to move through. Looks like that monster will actually like eat up the terrain behind me, and then I'll be out of space. Oh, okay, I didn't know you could kill those guys. That's good. Okay, killed that guy. And then, oh, I see, he broke like through that wall. Should have known, there's always a way to break through. Like anything, you gotta basically explore every option. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do in these boxes, though. I feel like there's got to be more to this, but I'm not getting it right now. Oh, those crawly metal guys just come back to life. There's really no point in killing them. And then go up to the top, get these icon or little coin thingies. Huh, that's strange. Yeah, I don't really see... Oh, there we go. Okay. Here we go. Second banana. Alright, so that's 2, but I know that there's a third one hidden in here somewhere. Oh, I can see it. I can see it from here. It's like way over across the level. I don't know how I'm going to climb up that, but just make my way. I feel like you can't really get fall damage in this, like, as Donkey Kong. Like, you just... Oh, there I went. Fell off, but... Yeah, you don't really get hurt. You just kind of, like, hit the ground and... And then it, Oh, okay, well, that was easy. Alright. Yeah, you can just return to later. That's silly. Alright, well, I got all 3 bananas out of that zone. Okay, so I'm just trying to find a couple, like, items, I guess, out here. Oh, I can see. There's like this, purple goo that you have to remove before you can, get the item that you need to take back to unlock the next area. Yeah, I'm not really sure where the source is, though. That's the trick, is you gotta find, like, you gotta find the source of the purple goo to clear it. Oh, you know what? Actually, might be up. Okay, yeah, I can see this. Alright, it's going up along the wall. Oh, that's nice. They kind of put, like, gold coins so you can actually follow the trail exactly. And there it is, yep. Nice level design. We'll just sing a song to break that off. Nice job, Donkey Kong. Now I got the second record piece. I just have to hop back up to take it back. Wow. They really just launch you all the way to the top. Yeah, there it is, second half of the record pieces. Nice. Got them all. Did you know that the terms for the great northern mammal reindeer and caribou are describing the same animal? It has been said that this can cause some confusion. The ICUN delineates the issue as reindeer being the European name for the species of rongifer, while in North America, the same rongifer species are known as caribou. The word reindeer is actually Old Norse, from hrenin and dir for reindeer and animal. It has nothing to do with rains or precipitation. The word caribou comes from Old French quadruped, meaning snow shoveler, and referred to the habits of the creatures pawing through the snow for food. Caribou inhabit much of northern Canada, the United States, and Alaska, specifically in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in northern Alaska. Scientists have noted that sea level rise from ice cap melt has begun to impact the northern porcupine caribou herd. Areas for possible oil drilling on the coastal plains of the wildlife refuge in northern Alaska encompasses much of the porcupine caribou calving grounds. These migratory caribou herds were named after the birthing grounds along the Porcupine River, which runs through a large part of the range of the porcupine herd. As early as 2001, some biologists feared that developments in the refuge would push caribou into the foothills where their calves would be more prone to predation. Though numbers fluctuate, there were approximately 169,000 of these caribou in the herd in 2010. Their annual land migration, 1,500 miles between their winter range in the boreal forests of Alaska and northwest Canada, goes over the mountains to the coastal plain, where their calving grounds reside on the Beaufort Sea coastal plain. It is the longest migration route of any land animal on Earth.